Welcome to the PN Community. I'm Rodney Woods, CEO of PN Community Playbook Investors Network, along with my peers, my partners, Tracy McGrady, Avery Johnson, and my team here today, featuring Mr. Calvin. Oh, I'm gonna get it right, Dr. Calvin McCoy from Signature Staffing, who I've worked with over the years. I think Calvin has a heck of a platform and definitely understands the process of staffing. The one thing I'm always talking about when it comes to this community and all of our businesses, we need two things. We need capital to scale and grow your business. But the main thing, when you get capital, it does two things for, allows you to hire the people using a company like Calvin's company to staff up, or allows you to purchase the equipment, for your business. So the money is for you to basically, hire the human capital and also pay for the equipment if you have a manufacturing business that you have to purchase equipment. So again, I want to thank all of you for taking the time out to get on the PN Community today to hear Calvin McCoy's story. A heck of a story. He's been very successful in what he's doing in staffing. Like I said, I've had the privilege to work with him for the last couple of years in helping Calvin deploy capital to his company. And I'm going to let Calvin basically tell you guys how all of this happened. So y'all sit back. I know James Cole got some movie things going on here, but y'all sit back and get ready for Calvin McCoy to tell you about his flight and Signature Staff and how he gained access to capital and got his company to the next level. But a very, very compelling story. And I know all of us have been through this. So Calvin, welcome to the PN Community and loving to hear your testimony today.
All right. Can everybody hear me? All right. Well, first, let me start off with the introduction. My name is Calvin McCoy. I am the CEO and owner of Signature Contingent Management. We are a full-service staffing agency and MSP. What an MSP is, what we do, we manage about 250 suppliers for our clients. And so, for example, Cisco may ask for 150 people. And what we'll do, we had a tool, a VMS tool, customized and built directly for our company. And so with that, we would release those orders into the tool, and it would distribute orders to all of our staffing suppliers. One of my goals has been, since starting, was to be a MSP unlike any other. And so our tier one suppliers are MBE companies, MBE staffing agencies. We've been nominated for 4 years in a row as Supplier of the Year for the GMSTC, and nominated 4 years in a row for MBE Advocate of the Year through the GMSTC Spirit of Alliance Awards. And so we have had a history of focusing on minority businesses grow. And that passion has come from my story and kind of what I had to go through in order to gain access to capital, to gain access to just the growth that we have. I started my company in 2017, and we grew very quickly. The first year, the first 10 months, I started April 2nd, 2017. And by December 31st, 2017, we were already at 1.1 million in revenue. And so we saw that we were growing, and we were growing a lot faster than what our working capital was able to do. And so, oh my God. So this is where my story gets interesting, because when I went to a bank, I went to a conventional bank, and I walked in thinking, hey, my company looks good. Our paperwork's together, and we walk in the bank, and I'm excited, and I sit down, and she says, okay, she looks at me. I said, well, I'm trying to get a business loan, and she looked at me, she kind of nodded her head. I said, okay, well, what type of business do you have? So I told her what type of business I had, and she was like, oh, okay. And she was like, well, just fill this paperwork out and have a seat, and I'll get back with you. So I'm okay. I sit down, I do all the paperwork, and, get all my financials together, get all my stuff together. I go back to her, and she says, oh, I'm getting ready to head for lunch. I said, well, you just, I said, okay, well, I'll just, wait around. So I waited an hour. So I'm sitting at PNC Bank waiting an hour. So she come back in. I guess she was so shocked I was still in there. And so she came over. She was like, "Oh, what's your name?" I said, "Mr. Calvin McCoy." She said, "You're still here?" I said, "Yeah, I told you I was going to wait." So she grabbed my paperwork, looked through it again. She said, "Oh, you know what? I should have asked you. You only been in business for a year. I won't be able to help you." So I'm like, "Well, you guys don't have any, any loans for, startups?" She was like, "Well, typically," and when she started with typically, I already knew what the issue was. I don't fit their profile. And so I went back to the office. I'm like, "I'm growing. I need access to capital. What do I do?" I go to I'm on Google and I see all I'm trying to get access to capital, and I end up getting my first MCA loan. And if you ever had an MCA loan, those are the most dangerous loans that you can ever get. It's a daily payment. You got to pay it daily. It's high interest. So I borrowed $75,000. I got to pay $150,000 back. And so I said, "Okay, I got to do this. We're growing. I got to get payroll. I got to cover." So I jump out there and I take on this beast. And for first I was like, "Okay, I got this." These daily payments, $1,000 a day. I got this. I'm bringing in cash flow. So then business slows down a little bit, but those daily payments don't stop. So I reach out to the company like, "Hey, I dropped about $3,000 in revenue. Can you guys, be patient with me?" "Oh no, you got to pay this daily." But hey, my business slowed down a little bit. Can you help me out? No. So I went on a search. I said, "Okay, I got to get out of this loan." And I was just, I can't remember. Rodney, did we connect on LinkedIn when we first connected? You were on mute.
Yeah, I was on mute. So no, we got introduced.
That's right.
Yeah, we got
introduced. And so when I first met Rodney, I was like, "Man, this man ain't gonna be able to help me. He always texted." I'm just like, "Well, I'm gonna try it." So I'm gonna tell you, the first Rodney came, he flew in, sat down with me, met my team, so we were all excited. And he went through this process, y'all. And let me tell you, I thank God for Rodney, because we sat down with probably 7 different investment companies. And they loved what we were doing. They loved the idea. And they were like, our first mistake was we had a bad CFO at the time. And that hurt us because they're going through I'm thinking, "Oh, my numbers are together, Well, what is this for?" "Well, I don't know what that's for. Let me ask my CFO." "I can't reach her on the phone." "Okay, well, we'll come back to that." "Well, what is this for?" "What does this mean?" And so I'm there looking like a fool. I leave that meeting like, "Right." He was like, "Man, whew, that was a tough one. Let's prepare you for the next one. Get to the next one." We get through the financials, we get it right. They sit down and they go through the financials. This time I had questions for everything. So what they asked, they liked, and so this one, they did give us a term sheet, but the terms was not favorable, for what we needed. One thing Rodney did in that time frame, he always got us a good term sheet. And so we had a choice to say yes or no. But at the time, when you're young in business, you don't understand what equity means. And people ask for equity in your company, and you like, "Wait a minute, they want my company? No, I want to be 100% owner." Because you worked hard, you built it, so your mindset's not at that point. And so then Rodney found us an investor, and she knew, she understood where we were. She came in, she saved us, allowed us to get capital. Now listen, that was the first time. That was in 2018. And so that was the first time we were able to grow, and we kept growing, we kept growing. Then here comes 2019, we shot up. We went from 1.1 million to 3.3 million. Here we are at this growth spurt again. So it's like, okay, how do we manage this? We keep growing in revenue. And so in 2019, we were growing so much, but I ended up having a stroke. And it took me down for a little while. I lost my ability to see. I lost my ability to talk for a while. And so I began to get so I was down for about 7 months. My company started going through some changes. And so here I go again, going through those changes. Oh gosh, go to the bank. Now we're looking really good. Go to the bank again. Now this time it was a different issue. And this was the issue that really concerned me because my credit score was a 730. Our company had been doing really good past 3 years. Our financials were great. Went into the bank, called on the phone first, and they were so excited to meet me. Oh my God. Oh, they couldn't wait. I sent all my financials in, all my documents were together. And it was like, you are pre-qualified, just come on in. I walk in the bank and I can see the look on the lady's face. She was shocked that the person she was just on the phone with was Black. And immediately where I was pre-qualified, it turned into, oh, you know what? We actually need your credit score to be at 750. You just pre-qualified me at 730. You know what? I'm sorry. I looked over that part. You ran my credit, so you saw before I got here. And so that went on for about 6 banks where I looked great on paper, but as soon as I walked in, it was a different story. Now, one of the challenges that I faced and that some people may not face is I come from a background. I love telling my testimony. I'm actually Netflix is actually doing a movie on me, so I'm a little nervous about the movie because they actually do reenactments and everything. But when I was 19, I made some bad choices and I ended up going to jail, and I was locked up for 4 years, and so I was concerned that this was going to alter my life forever and I would never be able to make it. And so I started this business regardless of what my past was. And we have been able to have great success. And so some banks looked over it. Some banks said, well, that's not the reason we're saying no. Well, what is the reason you're saying no? Our financials look great. We look great. So what is the reason? If it's not my background, it's 20 years ago, you're not concerned with that. And it's not this, so what is the issue? And so we fought this challenge for about 3 years. And this whole time I stayed in contact with Rodney. And Rodney was working on developing and building, because Rodney's desire was to make sure that every single company had access to capital, that came through PN. And so in 2022, I started the process with PN again of trying to gain capital. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Do I want to just sell the company? Do I just, we're doing good. Listen, we're 6 years in, and last year we did 6.9 million in revenue. And so we just turned 6 years old, April 1st. So, we're doing really, really good. But as we grow, we need working capital, and that was a challenge. And so Rodney was really focused on capital. I'm going to get you help. I'm going to get you. Now, mind you, you guys, because we were growing so fast, I made the decision again to go out there and get some MCA loan. But this time I got full of. Because every time, because we're in 10 states, we're in 10 locations. And so every time we grew, I would first go to the bank to see if they would give us money in order for us to grow. When they said no, I said, you know what? I got to go get capital because we got to open up an office here. And every location that we have opened up an office has always been a faith move. I think our biggest one was Baytown. We put an office in, we put 25 grand into that office, but that office makes $130,000 a week. And so those are the type of faith moves that we step out and do. I trusted God for every location that we step out and do. And so needless to say, we in staffing, you have times where you're really high and you have times where you just, you go really low. November was our low point. And through November through March, we go through some of our toughest seasons because our clients slow down. And our greatest, the same office doing $130,000 a week dropped down to $5 grand a week. Now, mind you, my company is operating off of a revenue where we're doing $130,000 a week. And I said, okay, God. So I'm praying, I'm seeking the Lord. I'm not paying myself so that I can pay my employees. I cut my salary out, because sometimes the CEO, and when you have 150 employees that's working for you, you got to look out for those employees sometimes before you look out for yourself. And that was, that's been my heart. I'm not one of those people. I'm going to make sure I eat and nobody else is eating. And so I didn't pay myself for 6 months, bills all going crazy. And so one of our relationship partners that Rodney had connected me with ended up working, connected me to a company. And we had actually saw a whole bunch of companies. And again, when it's your vision, you're protective. And we're a faith-based staffing agency, and we had several companies look at us, and we were like, well, no, they just don't fit. I'm getting fussed at. Calvin, you're not gonna get what you're asking for. And I was like, well, listen, I gotta get this. I can't do this unless I'm getting this. And at one point I was like, you know what, let's just forget it. I'm gonna thug this out. I've been thugging it out for 6 years. I've been, everything we've had to work for. I worked hard. I'm gonna get through it. In tears, I'm gonna get through it. And that's, God has kept us. He sustained us this far. And with that relation partner that Penn connected us with did not stop. And he said, Calvin, listen, I got somebody else I want you to meet. I don't know, if it's, how strong it's going to be. I don't know how much capital they have, but let's just have a conversation. And I'm a pastor as well. And so one of the things that I had a purpose to do, because I was going to sell the company and just build my church and, in our gym, our car wash, and just be done. I was going to walk away and just focus on ministry. But we have helped so many people through what we're doing. That's not what God wanted. And this partner, we got on the phone that first time and we could have talked for hours. And I was like, man, who are these people? And so, but what got me is because I'm very upfront and I tell everything. I'm very transparent. And I said, listen, well, why do you want to sell? Because I want to build my church. I want to build my church, debt free. I got to get a gym. I'm concerned with our young people. This is my goal. And we got off that phone and he called me back and he said, Calvin, listen, I understand. I sold my company for $200 million the first time because I wanted to build a mission in the Dominican Republic. And so when I said, okay, well, so you understand? He said, yes. He said, but I don't think that you should sell. I said, well, I got to do something because I got to reach this goal, and he was like, well, he said, what if I'm able to present something to you that you will remain, majority owner of your company, and we come in, we bring an influx of cash, and you continue to be the CEO, you continue to operate the company and grow it. He said, because the biggest issue you have is access capital. You're functioning great. You're doing this. Your ideas are awesome. What you're doing in the MSP is even greater. Now, mind you, I did not know everything that they did at this time. Only thing they told me was that this one company. So I was like, well, present your offer. We'll talk. Let's see. So then he called me the next day and he said, Calvin, listen, he said, this is what I'm willing to do. And so you guys, I'm sorry, I get emotional. Because my whole vision trying to get rich. I wasn't trying to, only thing I wanted to do was make sure I was able to build my church. And he said, Calvin, listen, this is what I want to do. He said, I am part owner of a bank. I'm like, oh, okay. He said, we want to come in and we want to partner with you. And what you're asking for, we're going to give you the money for your church. We want you to stay on full time. And we want you to continue to grow the company. We're going to put an influx of cash in so that you guys don't have cash flow issues. You guys, that was $1.7 million. And so this is the type of relationship that Penn is building. Had it not been for Penn, I wouldn't have been where we are now. what we have done with this relationship, you guys, I'm partnered with the bank. You know, the same ones that I was challenged with, the same ones that wouldn't give me a loan, the same ones that I was up against. You guys, we have literally changed the game, because now, now that we're partnered, what we ended up doing, we created a new program. And in that program, we're allowing our suppliers to be paid within 1 business day of them getting submitting an invoice to us. Because one of my goals have always been, you know, we need our MBE suppliers functioning with cash flow. So if I'm able to pay them quicker, that's going to help with cash flow. Number 2, it's going to cause these suppliers to work on my orders first, because we have a large client, they're paying 120 days to us, but we're paying that supplier within 1 business day of them submitting that invoice. And so now these large corporations that had an MBE diversity goal, they're able to reach those goals when they couldn't, because minority suppliers can't withstand 120 days. Some can't do 90. And so with this partnership, we've been able to create. So when I tell you guys what this relationship with Rodney and Penn has done is allow me to grow with fresh new things that we have not been able to do, because we had the ideas, but we didn't have access to capital. And so Rodney has built a program. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's and I hate to say it like this, but I'm gonna say how I feel. It's like a Black LinkedIn, you know. If you know, for us, so that we can connect. Now I know it's for everybody, but this is how I feel. That's not this me, you know. And so, because I've seen what Penn has been able to do for my company, but I've also saw what Penn was able to do for others. There's other testimonies outside of mine, and so what Penn is doing is creating access to capital. Watch this. Not only creating you access, but making sure you're educated. They're teaching you. Because one thing, the worst thing to do is get money and be a fool with it. You know, open the door, have access, and then you mismanage what came to you. And so we don't want anybody to mismanage anything. We want people to be able to grow. And so me being a part and working with Penn as a subject matter expert in staffing, you know, we want people to be able to grow. We want them to come and be a part of the program and grow to the next level. Now, listen, was it easy? No, it wasn't easy. You have to work for this. You know, I am a big person. Faith without works is dead. I can ask God for it, but I still got to work for it. And so sometimes we want things to be just handed to us, and it doesn't work that way. We have to work for it. And I worked for it. I sat down with Rodney. I got frustrated with Rodney. I got angry with Rodney. Rodney, this ain't right, Rodney. I didn't, you know, cry to Rodney on the phone, frustrated, mad, hanging the phone up on Rodney, you know, because I didn't want to do the process. No, I don't feel like getting this report. I've done 7 reports. I have done 6 of these pro formas. I did one for the last person. They want 5 years. They want 6 years. Y'all, I'm telling you, but it got me ready for the moment that we just had. Had I not went through this, we would not be where we are. Rodney's team took the time, y'all. They took the time. He dealt with my frustrations. He dealt with me going off. He dealt with me being disappointed. He dealt with me saying, you know what, I just quit. I'm done. And, you know, Calvin, you can't quit. You know, you got to keep going. You know, he put up with all of it. You know, and, you know, LaRonda, she got my crazy emails coming through there. So y'all don't understand. It was a process, but because they want to make sure that when they present you to their investors, because in essence, it looks bad on them if they submit someone who is not ready. It looks bad on them when they submit somebody who haven't even worked. You can't even see the passion for what they do. And so I get it now, but in the process, no, I did not get it. No, I did not. I felt like I was being picked on. I felt like Rodney didn't really like me. I felt like, you know, but this is what I was going through this season. And so when you have everything on you, you need education, you need knowledge, you need to know how to. It's so important. One of the challenges that that I saw myself facing a lot. And women, I love you all. Please don't get my next statement wrong. I love y'all so much. I do, y'all. I do, especially our entrepreneurs, strong women. And there are so many programs for women in business, and there are not any for men. Believe me, I searched the world. I could not find. I'm like, there are no programs for men. It got to be some programs for men. And it wasn't, and being a Black male coming from where I came from, being a convicted felon, having to work extremely hard to build everything I have. I'm like, Dad, I need help. I made bad decisions, because I didn't have programs where I could just write a letter and get a grant, for being a Black man. I couldn't write Goldman Sachs, who have all these programs and giving out $30 million to female, to women-owned businesses, Black women-owned. I'm like, God, leave Goldman. I'm over here. I'm struggling over here. Look at me, Goldman. Hey. And so one of the things that pressed on my heart was to create a program called M&M, Men in Need of Mentors. And what this does is a mentorship program for Black men in business. And we're working with Penn to create a really good program that these men who go through a success challenge and complete the classes that Penn offers, it will allow them to be able to get access to capital. We don't want to give it to them. You got to work for it. I had to work for it. Rodney took me through the ringer. Y'all don't understand. I had to work for it. And so because I had to work for it, but I see the payoff now, it was not easy. I got, it wasn't, going through times where it was stressful, going through moments where I'm like, Rodney, I don't think people believe in our vision. And he would say, Calvin, they believe in your vision, but you got to make sure everything looks right. They believe in your vision. They like you, but they want to make sure this business is operating at the best it can be at this moment. And when they add capital, what's going to happen? Listen, they don't want to hear that you need capital for marketing. That is not legit. Everybody do not say I need capital for marketing. They're going to be like, no, that's not legit. You need capital for payroll. You need capital for buying equipment. You need it has to be something tangible that they will be able to see that if this is a person, that's human capital. This is equipment. It's going to make money. But just not for advertising and marketing. They're not going to give you money for that. I had to learn that in a hard process. And Rodney kept saying it, but I didn't believe him. And so I'm telling y'all, I'm telling you guys what I went through in this process. Now I'm trying to make it so it's easier for y'all just to listen when Rodney's team comes and listen. We need you to have this, and this. That way you don't have to go through all the struggles I went through for being hard-headed. But
you make us sound like we're really dinosaurs over here, dude.
But they want to make sure, because listen, their investors look at everything. You guys, their investors look at everything. When you send over your paperwork, you're telling a story. Before they even see you, they're reading the story about you through what Penn sends over to them. And in them reading that, they got to be able to say, wow, Rodney, I love this guy's story. I love what they've been through. I love that they overcame. Watch this. I love that he overcame challenges. I love that he didn't let his past stop him. I love that even through the hard times, yes, he made bad decisions to take out those MCA loans, but we see that he was determined not to quit. He was determined not to let his company fold. And he's reaching out because he's saying, hey, okay, I need some help somewhere else. They pay attention to all those things. And so how I got access to capital was, number one, through Penn, through my relationship with Penn. And it's not just one time. It's not just one time. It's not just one thing. They got us capital twice. If you do a total, it was over $2 million is what Penn was able to do for us. And so, and listen, we weren't in the best shape the first time, but he has investors that says, listen, man, that they don't look well, but I want to invest in their dream. You know, I've had a conversation with them. I believe in them. That's really big because when you talk to them, you got to have a personality. You got to be able, you can't be, I mean, listen, because they're watching everything about you. You know, can they connect to you? Can they, you know, that harmony between you and that investor is really, really important. Making sure that that investor feels comfortable with, watch this, with you, the life that you live, who you are at work, out of work, you know, because they're making an investment. And so we want to make sure that everyone that comes through Penn, that we're taking the time to educate you, to make sure you have the knowledge, to make sure. So no, it's not going to happen in 30 days, you know, but will it, you know, could it happen in 60? Depends on you. Could it happen in 90? Depends on you. Could it happen in 100? It depends on how much you're willing to put in to make sure your company is 100% ready. That means you're going to take the time to learn how to add what your EBITDA is, to make sure your financials look right. You're going to take time to go and make sure you have a CFO. They want to make sure that you have invested something into your company. Listen, don't go to a bank and you haven't invested nothing yourself. If you don't, you know, yes, we have our sweat and our tears, you know, but they want to see money. They want to see, you know, yes, they want to make sure you have skin in the game. You know, why should they put millions of dollars, thousands of dollars of their money on anything and you haven't done anything yourself? And so it does matter to them when you have been working very hard to build your business. It does matter. You know, now, does Rodney have some companies that he has startup investors too, that will look at your business plan, a well-written business plan, a well-written business plan, you know, not a proposal, but a well-written business plan. There's a difference, a proposal and a business plan. They're two different things. And so he does have startup investors that will look at that business plan and say, I like this idea. Let me see if anyone else is doing it. There's 5 companies doing it. What makes them different from these 5 companies? When we first started in staffing, you guys, I had to make sure that we was different. The staffing market is saturated. It is thousands of staffing agencies. But we did 3 things that made us very different. Number 1, we provided transportation, and we still do. We own shuttles, and we transport employees back and forth to work. So then we start, now number 2, we do workforce etiquette training. So before we even start any employee, we sit them in a training room, because we want to make sure we're not sending trash to our clients. We want to make sure we're not sending uneducated people who can't read. No, we sent them through a class and we teach them etiquette training. So they go to that job site with etiquette. They get a little certificate that says they graduated, makes them feel like they accomplished something, and then we advertise that we are faith-based. And so those 3 things make them say, well, wait, let me connect with y'all. So that's how we grew so fast. But then when we started the MSP, how are we different from Tapton? How are we different from Randstad SourceRight? How are we different from Pontoon, Adecco? How are we different from all these other MSPs? Well, number 1, all of them use a tool they don't own. So we built a tool so that number 1, we can stand out. We own our tool. Then number 2, we have on-site representation for every site that we own. That way, when we have employees showing up at a site, our client is not getting hit with 15 different suppliers. They run right into our rep, and our rep handles everything else. Then at the time, we had 5 to 10 day payment terms. Now we have 1 day payment terms. And no other MSP is doing any of this at all. So now we're setting ourselves apart. And so it was really, really, really important that we set ourselves apart. And so when you're approaching Rodney as a startup, when you're approaching the Penn community as a startup, make sure you have some differentiators in that business plan that sets your business apart. If you're going to do a food truck, what's going to make your food truck different from the other food truck that's sitting right next to you in the same office park or the same event? Those differentiators make a difference in those startups looking at that at that idea and saying, okay, wow, let me see what they do. If you're inventing something, show why your product is needed. Why do we need this? You know, help us understand why we need it. You know, that way you can show them that there is a need for what you are bringing. You know, Penn can do it. I promise you all. Penn can do it. They have so many. Their network of lenders is huge. Over 700 lenders they have access to. And so, and for every area that you need app capital in. So now the first step, you say, okay, Calvin, now you talk well. Okay, how do I become a part of Penn? First thing, if you look in our chat room, Penn just posted a link. So the very first step is signing up, becoming a member. Now I suggest, listen, do the $199, get it out the way, get it done so that you can get access to everything you need access to. There's a monthly program too, but listen, now you know you don't manage things monthly well at all. Well, listen, now some of y'all get mad when Apple take out that Apple Music.
Yeah.
No, you better take my lunch. That was my lunch. You know,
right.
You know, so we want to make sure. So sign up. As soon as you sign up, we engage you immediately. You get emails. We start talking to you. We start learning about your company because we need to know, why did you join Penn? What do you need help with? What do you need us to do? And we're going to help you do it. You know, men, listen, now for our men, now listen, y'all investments a little bit more now. So I don't want y'all fussing, but what y'all gonna get out of that investment is the education you need to be successful in access to capital. So our success challenge is $499, but that it gives you 3 to 6 month worth of classes, and then after you complete those classes, you got it. Let me tell you what we're gonna do. After you complete those classes, we set you up with a mentor in the business that you want. If you want to do a food truck, guess what? You're gonna go work on a food truck. You're not gonna tell us to put you in a food truck. You want a food truck and you ain't never operated one. No, we're gonna put you in the food truck and you're gonna learn, but we're gonna pay you for your time. You're gonna get paid for them 30, 60 days you in that food truck. You know, but we're gonna pay you, but it's important for you to learn. You can't say you want to run a laundromat and you have never, ever, or the only thing you came close to a laundromat was putting your quarters in there and washing your clothes. You have never seen what happens on the back end. And so we want to partner you with a laundromat. Listen, you want to buy a franchise. Well, listen, no. We're going to sit you down with some brokers. You're going to sit there and shadow in that franchise, because we're not going to invest in your franchise if you have no idea the market you want to go in. And so we are creating avenues for there to be complete success in connecting to Penn. This is why this relationship is different from others. Yes, there are a whole bunch of incubators, but are they paying you when you go do mentorship? No. Believe me, I've been a part of 9 of them. I'm sitting there, okay, I spent 9 hours here. Now let me go do my other job and spend another, let me go do my own company. You know, but we're paying you for your time to learn. Who pays you to learn? So these are the things that we are doing to help push and excel you all, because we need, listen, there is capital out there. There's a lot of capital out there. Believe me, y'all, there is capital out there. Companies are sitting on millions of dollars that they want to be able to pour, but there is a fear that they're pouring into people who are going to misuse and mismanage what they have given. Yeah. And that is really important. The educational piece is important. And then what I love about Rodney and the Penn team is it's catered. So what I needed, what I lacked, Rodney made sure I had it. Calvin, okay, we got it. Okay, this is where your strengths, this is where your weaknesses are. Your accounting is horrible. I got to pair we got to connect you. No, this is no, you don't know none of this stuff is. You have no idea. You let this person do all your books and you have no idea what they did. And so he made sure to connect us with someone that's going to help us never make that same mistake again. And so Penn takes the time to find your weaknesses, and don't get an attitude when they find them. Don't get in your feelings, y'all. Listen, because I was that one like, you don't know how I put, don't tell me I've been doing this, you know, but sometimes you need somebody from the outside looking in so they can say, well, this and this, I get it, but this is what it looks like from our perspective. And that helped me. When I tell y'all, that helped me so much for them to look at my books and be like, now this two don't match. Now your tax documents say this, but this income on here say this. No, this don't match. They got to match. I'll never forget. And LaRonda probably remember this because I was heated. I was so mad. So Rodney connected me to this guy. Now I thought all my documents was together, y'all. I just knew my CFO she had done got it right. And so they had my tax return. And he said, well, your tax return, what you made on your tax return is way different from your P&L. So it should match. Now, what are you talking about? It does match. No, it doesn't match. So I felt like he was attacking me. This man was attacking me. I was like, sir, no, you just doing this because you don't want to do the loan. If you don't want to do the loan, y'all. So yeah, listen. That man was like, sir, he's like, he just kind of got real with me. No, that's not it. Whoever is doing your taxes and whoever is doing your paperwork is two different people. And guess what it was? He called it out before I could even say it. My CFO, which was absolutely horrible, she did my P&L, but I wasn't letting her do my taxes because I don't know. I didn't trust her all the way with that part. But I trusted her to do this part, because she had QuickBooks. She see all that. So I'm thinking, everything is in QuickBooks, but she don't have access to all of my document taxes. And so they didn't match. And I mean, he was so real. He said, listen, I know you probably think I'm attacking you, but brother, I'm not. I'm just trying to educate you so you never, ever make this mistake again in front of another investor. He said, I like you. I think you're a good guy. I think your vision is great. You got a great personality, but bro, I can't do nothing with bad books. I don't know how much you really making. I don't know how much you really got. I have no idea what your cash flow is. I have no idea what your EBITDA is. What's your margin? How am I gonna get my money back if I invest in you and I can't even see my money? And I was like, okay. So then y'all, let me tell you, lesson learned, right? The same thing that Rodney tried to teach me then. Y'all, we got a client, right? I ain't gonna put the client name out there. We got a client, and the client was not getting approved by our company. And so when we got their P&L, y'all, the P&L, and I looked at it, they owed $50 million on the P&L alone. And so my company said, listen, he said, if you could find your payment in this P&L, we'll do it. Well, I'm like, wait, $50 million in the hole. I can't see my payment. But y'all, we took on this client. We took him on. We took him on anyway, y'all. We took him on anyway. Because they was like, listen, God, we're gonna pay you. We're gonna pay you weekly. Y'all, we put over 1,000 people on the ground. All of our suppliers was on this account. Now, mind you, what I learned in Penn was right in front of me. I saw it. I saw the same thing that they taught me about. If you can't see your money, why? Y'all, these folks end up not paying us. And then today, we just got a letter today that not only they didn't pay us, but they didn't pay a lot of people. They are $70 million in debt. And they ended up selling their assets, but leaving all of their debt for us to fight over. They owe $70 million, but it's crazy. So in that's the type of situations that had I learned the lesson, had I listened to the things that Penn was teaching me in the beginning, I would have said no. Sometimes it's more, listen, you can believe in people's visions and dreams all day long, but you got to see what that thing looks like on paper. You got to see how they're already operating. And the Bible, and listen, the word of God says, if you prove faithful over the few things, I'll make you a ruler over many. If they haven't proven faithful on that paper, so this is why it's important for you to have a good CFO. If you're doing your own, have your own audited. That way, and listen, yes, it costs a little bit much to go get you a CPA, but it's worth it. If you need $50,000 to start your business up, what is wrong with you investing $1,200 into a CPA and it's probably some are less than that, but I ended up bringing my CPA on as a CFO, a part-time CFO. So I paid them monthly or weekly, but that investment allowed for my books to get together so that when Penn was able to present me with his broker, because Penn has brokers that work for you. And so those brokers will go out and go work hard, but we can't embarrass Penn. So we're trying, listen, it is our goal to get you access to capital. That's what we want. I don't want to be the only one that Penn or, and the others that they have helped. We don't want to be the only one. We want everybody to be able to really, truly have access to capital. I got tired. Listen, if y'all see, I'm very vocal. So I'm the one that go to these events and I raise my hand and say, listen, the guy you had up here last week made these promises and they ain't did nothing. That's who I am. The CMSDC know me. Rice know me. I am that one. I'm a part of some cohorts and I'm the one that say, hold up. Now, I am that one. We had a call where at the airport a couple weeks ago, they was like, okay, get this man off the phone. But I'm going to call you under the rug. Don't say you're going to do all this. But then we go to an expo and everybody they give you a little card that say register on this QR code. You go into a black hole and never hear from anybody, and so I definitely want to make sure that you guys are not falling into a black hole again, because many of us have been to expos. Many of us have gone to all these trade shows and took our capability statement, hoping to get business, hoping that these folks will reach out to us to give us money, and hoping, we've done all of that. And so the access to capital will help you in a lot of ways. So I see a question, would you suggest having the business plan before joining Penn? No, let Penn teach you how to write that business plan. This is what Penn does. This is why you're paying for education. Education is not free. And so you're paying for it, but then we turn around and pay you, to help you continue to grow. So what are the advantages for me to join before starting my business besides being able to shadow someone who is doing business I am interested in doing? Watch this. The key thing in joining, you get the education you need and before you step out there. One of the worst mistakes we make is starting a business and not knowing everything that's needed to start that business. I sit down with a lot of CEOs today. I am a dream pusher, and that's been who I am. And people who know me know I push dreams. And so I sit down with CEOs every single day, and I walk them through. I've been doing this for free. I walk them through the whole process of what to do to get their business started in the area. My mom, when they call me the mastermind, because if you can literally sit down with me, tell me your business, and in 5 minutes, I'm going to be able to tell you how to grow your business, what steps to take, and then how to continue to stay and grow. God has given me a great mind for business. It is a gift. I'm gifted in the marketplace. That's where God has gifted me at. And so God has given me such a creative mind to see people's businesses grow. Every person that I have sat down with and connected with, and they have said, Calvin, I'm just trying to grow my business to the next level. What do I need to do? And so I'll sit down, I'll go to, by the time they leave, and now I look up right there, they making all this money. Good God, they listen to what I said. Right. And so Rodney said, Calvin, listen, you got to be a part of what I'm building, because, these people need to really, truly, 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 truly the information that you're pouring out, you know, we can do this bigger with you in it. You know, we have a lot of subject matter experts that in areas that people need to just trying to start business. Listen, how do you hire people? You know, what if you don't have the money to hire people? You know, well, how can you get people to start? How do you use a staffing agency? How does the staffing agency benefit your company when workers' comp is too expensive? When this is stuff you're gonna learn being a part of PN, because some of y'all are working crazy hours and you know you need somebody, but you can't afford it. But if you were able to connect with a staffing agency who's able to give you credit for 30 days while you build your business to pay employees. So it's things that you all can learn being a part of PN. You know, how do I get paid? Waiting for my my invoices. I can't wait net 30. I'm losing business. How do I get paid quicker? I go through this, they charge me a lot of money. Well, PN has the resources that will make sure to help you. There are so many things that we don't learn before we start our business. You all, college didn't, I went to college. College taught me all this stuff, but it did not teach me how to run my business. What taught me how to run my business was a bunch of mistakes. A bunch.
Yeah.
I had the knowledge. I knew how to staff. I've been doing staffing for 27 years. I knew how to staff. I worked for some of the best staffing agencies in the world. I had that part down. But boy, I did not understand how much workers' comp was gonna cost me. I did not understand all these payroll taxes I gotta pay. I did not understand SUDA, FUDA. Listen, this is why you don't start a business before you get educated. This is why joining PN before starting your business is important, because you get educated on every single thing you need to start your business. Let me tell you this, watch this. I bought a truck. I bought an 18-wheeler. And so we're making these payments on the truck, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna get this thing going. We're gonna do this thing, we're making payments, and you know, truck ain't started yet. Truck ain't hit the road yet. Why? Because I did not do my research. Y'all, it is so many steps that you gotta do before that truck can even touch the road. Heavyweight tax, IRP. Y'all, I'm just, DOT this, DOT. I'm like, okay, nobody told me that. But had I sat my behind down and got in the class, guess what? PN covered this. I should have logged on the PN and said, wait a minute. I'm trying to open a truck company. Who is your subject matter expert for opening a trucking company? I knew it said, Calvin, connect with this person. They'll walk you through all these steps. Myself, I'm out here looking crazy. Now I got to pay somebody $1,000 to do all that paperwork because I couldn't do it. But had listen, I forgot to use my own resource. I'm a part of PN. Rodney they have subject matter experts in every single, y'all don't hear me. Rodney took the time to learn, okay, people are operating in this business, they're 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 operating in this business. He took the time to build this so they get subject matter experts in all these areas. So why? So that when you go to say, I want to do this, and his subject matter expert talk to you about how to start it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I changed my mind. I don't want to do this. Well, what you got that's easier to do? But this is why this relationship is important. So, Irene, I hope I answered your question. I want to, it's 8 o'clock. I want to open the floor for questions, more for writing to speak. I've been talking a lot, but you guys, the relationship that I have with PN is great. I suggest everybody click on that link so that you guys can be, to join PN and get connected right away. And it is so many other business owners in this tool that is effective, that will talk to you, that will say, hey, I'm glad you're a part. What do you need help with? I mean, they just friendly. You get a part of LinkedIn, you email somebody, they block you. You know, all you trying to do is get some information. Can I get some? I just want to know how you started your business. Block. But that's not PN. You know, they'll talk to you. They'll say, hey, let's take some time to talk. You all, we need this type of relationship building that PN offers. We're not getting it from anywhere else. I'm a part of 100 Black Men. I'm a part of MBMAA. I'm a part of GMSDC. I'm a part of so many organizations, y'all. and I like the relationships because I meet people, but there's much more that I needed. And I needed something that I knew for sure was going to get me capital, and that was PEN. So definitely, any questions, Rodney? I've been talking, so go ahead.
No, listen, Calvin. I know you very well. Yeah, and like you said, we had a lot of knockdown, drag out fights over the years, but we're happy for you. You know, we're happy for your team, you know, and your accomplishments. But I mean, Calvin, you, your family, Felicia, and others, we just gotta continue to have champions like you guys to really, like, you know, champion other businesses, right? Because the struggle with us is we always trying to be a little closed-minded. We're not trying to share the knowledge. We're not trying to share the wealth. I don't mind saying, you know, I'm very vocal. I'm not bashful by any means, but Black folks don't want to work together. We don't want to come together and work together. We don't want to share our resources or our monies, you know, but we got to stop that. If you want to change the game, and it's not just about Black folks, it's about anybody and everybody who is a business, period. Minority-owned, woman-owned, government, LGBTQ plus, whatever. But we got to learn how to like share the resources and the knowledge. But we can't share it with you to Calvin's, you know, to champion what he's saying. We can't share it with you if you're not trying. If you're not trying to reach out, and you're not talking, and you're not asking questions, you're not networking, sometimes we don't know what you want. We don't even know, you know, what you're thinking about. I mean, you got to verbalize that, or you got to write that and be comfortable, you know, in your own home or your own vehicle or your own plane or whatever it is. You can come in here and do this all day, 24/7, whether it's on your Android, your iOS pad, your iPhone, or what have you. So we want to get, I mean, let's take this beyond LinkedIn or Facebook or TikTok or Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff, right? But this was really for people who really need help in trying to understand where you're trying to go, because staffing, like with Calvin, is so important because, and I share with Calvin so many times too, Calvin is truly can be that big staffing arm that can staff up companies in all 50 states, right? But look at the social impact that we'll have by creating jobs because somebody got staffed at this company and now we can work with each other. So it's a recycling type of situation where we can work together, continue to bring the businesses together. We can all have a different outline, a different company or a different industry, but you can still share and work together. So Calvin, again, I thank you so much, you know, for your testimonial. You know, I thank all the group who came on today because I know it's, I think 7:10 now, 8:10 East Coast time. So we're not trying to, you know, take up all your time because you still got to do what? You got to grind that business out. You got to get it, right? So did we have any more questions from anybody? Let me see.
And we got the chat room, so you guys could definitely type them in the chat room as well. That'd be absolutely great for anyone that has questions. We're here, we are really here, you know, to partner. You know, my desire is for all of us to thrive together. So that's really key. I see it. So if I have a business partner, do we both have to join? Yeah, it would be great if you both join. Because that way it'll allow us to get to know both of you guys and connect with both. And if one can't be available, someone is busy, then definitely, you know, the other. So I definitely 100% recommend everyone, you know, if you have a partner, for everybody being a part of PEN. I promise you, you guys, it has blessed my life. It has blessed my life. And I want it to be a blessing to yours.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
The question I have is that when you start, but the business that I want to start is for like older people or people with special ed, for a family like they don't have enough time to take care of them, that they have a safe place for them, like, you know, a very safe place for them. I want them to know to put a trust fund in it. Do I need any type of certificate or anything? Because yes, I'm in school, but I'm in school for business of art. But any certain things that I need to start this business or what?
And Lenora, That is a great question. And yes, Penn can help you with those resources. So connecting to Penn, they will be able to help guide you through that process, because it is hard doing any type of care home. And so you want to make sure that you are meeting state standards. You want to make sure you have all the certifications that you need. And that's why is important, because they're not just throwing you out there, they're helping you through that process, and they have subject matter experts, in these areas. So definitely join Penn, and when you join, let the Penn team know this is your desire, that this is what you want to open, so that the team can begin working and forming what you need. Okay.
Yeah. So Lenore, so that's
But,
so that's go ahead.
even through this process, yes, I do want to do that, and I am going to do that. I'm gonna start with the $19.95 amount, but also through this process is I want to make sure, like, when I do start, I do want to start just one place first, like a one building, like with 6 people. Start off with 6 people, then see how that handles it right then and there. But through this process, do like, if you, I don't know how to put it, but I just really ready to start this business. Like, I want to get it out. I want to show folks that they do have a place for their loved ones.
No, so Lenore, I mean, it's like Calvin said, with any business, you still got to have a plan. You got to know how to actually navigate that business. Even when it comes to medical, you got a lot of HIPAA compliant type of things. You got to administer drugs if you got to, give that loved one drugs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you got to do. But we would definitely get you in front of the right resource to make sure that, all your I's are dotted, T's are crossed. So we'll make sure we do that.
Yeah, because I do have, I did take up Medicaid, and that's one of the part of the certificate I have too. I'm a Medicaid by CN and all kinds of stuff like in Medicaid. I do have a plan of how to start and everything.
Okay.
I also going to school for another 6 months for how to do what type of medicine, to know what to do for the people. I'll see the look on how to take care of them. I'm doing that for 6 months. I'm in a school for 4 years already, but that's a business of art, to find the old business. But I do got 2 more that I want to do.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely, when you get in, we'll definitely speak to you about all the things that you're trying to get accomplished to make sure we give you a blueprint and make you successful. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
And thank you, Mr. Calvin.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Any other questions, anybody?
Maya has a question. She has her hand up.
What was that? Oh, Maya.
Hey, I have a question. I have been in the food and beverage industry. I have my own catering and event planning business. I'm scaling back because prior, my children, they were in the business with me. Everybody is grown and gone now. But I love cooking. It's a passion. I love designing. And I do have a business plan. But I want to can they take another look at it to see if I'm headed in the right direction? And give me, I guess, pointers on how to do it at a smaller level than I'm accustomed to doing.
Calvin, you want to go ahead and take the food truck?
Yeah, that is because one of the good part of doing a food truck, you can either do one that's stationary or one that's mobile, where you're able to take it to different places, or only do certain events. The food truck side is very lucrative. We see people. I know someone who's at the minimum of you doing the food truck, they're making between $160,000 to $250,000 a year, and that's just them wanting to take care of their own livelihood. They're not trying to be millionaires, but they just love cooking, and this is what they do. And so it is a very it's a lucrative business, and one of the key features of the food truck is you're able to manage your time and manage your days, and if the food is good, they're gonna come, So, but sometimes the catering business part is very trying to get those events. It's challenging, but a food truck it pays off. Get that investment. get that food truck, get a nice food truck, a big one, a medium size. There's different sizes, and there's companies that do it. And I actually know a Black-owned business that actually, if you get the trailer, they will come in and build everything out for you at a low rate. You just got to buy everything. And so you don't have to go and invest in buying one already complete. And so there are ways for you to grow and continue to cook and do it in a different way. But the food truck would definitely be a great idea to get your food out there, do different events, and yeah, you do have to pay some fees to be a part, but it's never more than, $150. So, to be a food truck vendor, you may have to pay $150, but you stand to make, $1,200 a day, so, and if you're out like in the day, you say, you know what, let me go to a warehouse where there's no food places around, or they're far. Go to that warehouse. Do you mind if I set my food truck up? And if you're doing soul food, you're gonna be sold out every day. So and they're gonna come and they're gonna buy. So being creative, and you say, you know what? Oh my God, I don't know if I can, drive a big old truck around and maneuver this, then you hire someone to do those things for you. You hire them to go ahead, and you never want to do a food truck completely by yourself, because you got to prep food, you got to cook food, you got to be able to serve the people. So you do want some help with you working on that food truck, and so if you only hire one person to assist you, and that's your person to go out with you every day, guess what? And listen, sometimes I love family. I love working with family, but sometimes family got to have their own thing, and you got to have your own thing. Hire someone outside, that way you don't feel obligated to keep people on, if they're not performing, the top notch. And so definitely want you all to, we want you all to be successful. And so, reach out and say, listen, reach out to a staffing agency, that, could hire that one person for you. And they're not working out, they lazy, you call it, hey, send me somebody else, pay that invoice, because guess what? You're making about $700 to $1,000 a day. So if you're making that, you're doing about $6,000. You can do anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000 a week, depending on how often you're out there. And so that allows you to be able to afford to pay somebody from $12 to $15 an hour, because guess what? They're out there 8 hours. That's $600, between $400 to $600 a week. And you afford that because of how much money you're bringing in. So it's ways to do it, but this is why being a part of PEN, we're able to teach you how to do it effectively, show you where your money is, how to go out there and buy your food. So you're not overspending on leg quarters, you're not overspending on wings, and you're not overspending, so you're able to see your return. If you made $1,000 and you spent $300 in food that day, then you went home with $700. Don't spend that money, because sometimes food trucks, you have cash in hand. So you got to get into a habit of not spending that money. When you leave that place, go straight to the bank and deposit that money. Because if it's in your hand, you're spending. Now you're spending your employees' pay on Friday. So this is
correct. So we bring on some, supplement experts, and we work in every industry. So whatever industry it is that you're looking to get into, we'll have somebody talk to you about the industry, so kind of give you the do's and don'ts, so that you don't make the mistakes that they may have already made. So that won't be an issue. Any other questions? I know we got to wrap it up. I know for those on the East Coast, it's 20 after 8. I'm thoroughly enjoying all this too, Calvin. It's always good to see everybody, and always good to be seen. That means we still here, right? So Calvin, I'm gonna let you, Pastor Calvin McCoy, to take us out of here with a prayer, brother. All right.
I sure will. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you, Lord. We thank you for this time that we have been able to spend with these great entrepreneurs. And Father, we pray now that, God, you are, after this call, encouraging vision, God. God, encourage them to speak to their vision. The vision has an ear. And when they speak to the vision will then speak. And so, Father, give them encourage. God, I pray that their spirits are encouraged tonight, that they will get off this call motivated and excited about what their dream is. And Father, I pray, for you said, Lord, that the dream is yet for an appointed time, but to write the vision and make it plain. Oh, that they who read it may run with it. And so, Father, I pray now for runners for all of our businesses, that God, the doors will open from the north, the south, the east, and the west, God. Doors that is meant for them to walk through that will bring revenue to their business. Father, I pray that they connect to this anointing, they connect to PEN, that Father, because God, you're over this. You're over it, God, and your hand is in it. And so, Father, we pray now, God, that Lord, you do a marvelous thing, Father. Enlarge our territory, God. Same grace, God. Same grace, Father. Enlarge our territory, enlarge our footprint, Father. Oh God, give us more, God. And even as we are oh God, and we pray now that even the businesses out there that these CEOs will also remember to tithe, that they may have their own tithing life, but their business needs its own. And so, Father, we pray that we start seeing miraculous moves of God. Miracles happen in every person's business on this line. And Father, we pray now in Jesus' name. Amen. Listen,
Amen.
before we get off, LaRonda, Sonia, repost that link so that they can go in and click on that link. Please, you guys, repost that link again so that they can go in and click that link and join. So they can join and become a part of PEN, so we can start the process of helping your vision and your dream come true. We are dream pushers. That's why we're in.
Thank you guys, ladies, so much. Have a wonderful evening, a rest of a great week, and let's come together. Let's get this together. Let's take your business to the next level. Thank you, Calvin, so much.
Yes. I'm excited.
Right.
All right.
All right. See you later.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.